Hello, welcome back to the NAmen Podcast, episode 23. We took a small little break just to recover and enjoy some LCS games. We are back on our regular recording schedule. My name is Numiii, and I'll be the host for this episode. I'm gonna let my NAmen friends introduce themselves as well, and we'll introduce the theme. So just say your name and one cool thing that happened to you this week. I finally put up my End of Evangelion canvas print poster after having it in my living room for 2 months. It is now in my room. I love it so much, and I'm reminded of existential crises that are going on with my life. So I'm gonna let my next friend introduce themselves and go from there.
My name is
Oh wait. Yeah, go ahead.
my name is Maxi, and not it's cool for me, but not for my wallet. I bought a lot of comics recently, and now I don't know where to put them. But they look really nice, so I'm really happy about it.
I'm Delfino or Delphi. I guess the cool thing is that I am currently at home and that I'm going to LA tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And I'm going to be hanging out with some fun, cool people. Very excited.
NAmen meetup. I'm so excited actually to see you and Elaine in person and just to hang out at the games. We can be with Arsh and John, and we're gonna take cute pictures. So everyone be on the lookout for our socials. We're gonna spam pictures of us at the arena. So this is episode 23, and this is actually going to be a special edition. We actually wanted to talk about International Women's Day that happened earlier this week and kind of celebrate the accomplishments of women. And specifically for this specific episode, we're going to focus on women in esports and gaming. So all three of us come from a different background and have different experiences of us being in this space, and kind of wanted to share some of our experiences of like being a woman, right? I think specifically in esports and gaming, there are certain stereotypes and perceptions that come with being a woman, and we kind of want to talk about our experiences, our personal moments, and kind of highlight who have inspired us and kind of bring up some attention of how we can inspire other individuals as well. So the first kind of question I wanted to highlight is what kind of got us into esports and gaming, and how did being a woman kind of affect that introduction per se. So I can kind of go first. I think my experience has been very positive. Specifically, I've been into League of Legends, which has been my gaming experience, and I would say that my introduction to League has been positive. I heard a lot of perception about like gamers being very toxic in game and out of game, explaining about how women don't really understand the game and shouldn't talk about it, or I should not be allowed to express my affection for players and teams. And I am very fortunate to say that I didn't experience much of that when I first started getting into League of Legends, specifically when I found a fandom for LCS on Twitter and Discord. I felt very welcomed. I kind of wanted to specifically highlight Elaine and Delphi for that, actually. I remember looking at Elaine's account for the first time and thinking that she was a really cool artist, and I really appreciated how she showed her love for players, and I wanted to be a part of that community. So kind of talking to the two of them and seeing other individuals on LCS Twitter specifically, I felt very open to talk about League of Legends, my experience in-game, and at the arena, and also to just talking about players. So I think because LCS Twitter to me has been very welcoming, open, and honest, I felt very comfortable kind of getting into this fandom. I do realize and recognize that my experience is a little unconventional and not really the common story, so I kind of want to give the floor to anyone else who wants to talk about it, but I can say that at the beginning, getting into League, at least like the fandom portion, I felt very comfortable, and I didn't feel perceived as being a woman until later on in my experience. But does anyone want to hop in and talk about their experience as well?
Yeah, sure. So I actually started like my esports. Like I started following esports in the Smash community, specifically Smash Ultimate. Like I watched some Smash 4, but like I kind of started. Like if you go back to my really old tweets, a lot of them are about Smash community responding to players and stuff. I wasn't very I wasn't a very big account, right? And I wasn't very active. I had very few mutuals because, like, at the same time, I was part of like anime Twitter, and almost all my mutuals were like from there. So I was like kind of more on the anime side, but I also would like participate in Smash stuff too. But I think my biggest thing about Smash community was that, well, about esports in general, is that there's literally no female players at all. And when the whole thing came out about, it was like summer 2020, I think, and the whole thing came out about a bunch of like players being predators and stuff like that. That was a lot of like the accounts of like players doing that stuff was to girls, like girls about my age.
Yeah.
Obviously there was like some older women too, but like a lot of like the girls who went to Smash events said they felt uncomfortable, right? And that's when I kind of withdrawed from the Smash fandom, and then I started playing League, and I kind of got into League esports like late 2020, and I wasn't active on Twitter until like I wasn't active on League Twitter, like LCS Twitter, until like February, March of this year. And it's kind of been a blessing and a curse because like obviously people are like, oh, like you stand out more if you're a girl on LCS Twit because there's not that many of us. But at the same time, you stand out in a bad way to some people, and people use that to kind of target you. It's overall been a pretty positive experience, but there's definitely a lot of judgment that comes from everyone. Like people think, well, I won't get into that kind of stuff, but people make assumptions about you because like you're a girl and that's different, and like you're somebody who's a fan of the LCS while being openly attracted to men. Like there's not a lot of like that kind of thing present, and that kind of puts a target on your back. But overall, my experience has been positive. I've met a lot of really, really cool people, like obviously everyone in NAmen, and like all my friends on League Twitter. They're so great. I love hanging out with you guys. And I would say, though the experience wasn't like 100% great all the time, it's been mostly positive.
For me, I had like the K-pop to esports pipeline. Because what got me into League was this BTS has this one show called Run BTS, and they had T1 as a guest. So that when I first watched it, I got curious because I really like Faker there. So I say, okay, I'll do research on Faker. And then I started to like fixate on Faker. I was like, oh, he can do this. Oh, he's the GOAT.
He's
And
the
then
GOAT. He could do anything.
this happened like November 2020, like early November 2020. And then through Faker, I started playing League, and then the first season that I ever watched was spring 2021. And through League, I met like you guys. I met like my T1 mutuals. So like sure, I understand the sentiment as well that being a woman who's a fan of esports, it's not always going to be good for you, especially with like the criticisms of all and all. But with all the friends that I made, it kind of like blocked away the negativity. And then with LCS specifically, I got into it last year because I was watching EG and MSI, and at the same time, Danny was very active on Twitter because he followed like a bunch of T1 fans, so they were all interacting with him. So I guess that got me curious with LCS, and through Danny, I met you guys.
Honestly, I think the three of us kind of share that because of the friendships and bonds we've made with people, it kind of neutralizes the negativity that we've gotten as being a woman. And I can say for myself in my current state, LCS Twitter feels very welcoming to me in a sense of like there's a lot of women like out there who are into League of Legends that are active on Twitter, and while I understand that's a very niche pipeline, it's still really cool to see that community. I met a FlyQuest fan about 2 weeks ago at the arena, and she had said that she just mainly interacted with League on Discord. And so when I told her there's a whole community on Twitter, she started looking into it more and talking to people, and they messaged me something like, "Hey, like I feel really welcomed, and it's really cool to find people like who are women talking about League," and she wanted to participate more because of it. She said she hadn't found that community, at least like from the spaces she was in. So I appreciate all three of us have had a really positive experience, but like I can say too, like and maybe someone else can jump in too. I have definitely felt the pressure, the stereotype, the perception of being a girl. Like, not even talking about like women don't play video games, girls don't get into gaming. Like, not even talking about that specific general perception, but like for League, right? Like, I've been told stuff like, you can only fangirl over players. You don't have the knowledge to talk about the game. To which I'm like, what are you talking about? Right? Stuff like, how do you know what's going on if like you're only like a fangirl? And I kind of push back on that too. Like, I can talk about it a little later, but having like people call me out on the internet saying that I was a fangirl yelling for players and being pinged for it on Discord and like being blown up on Twitter for that perception, it just felt like that was probably one of the few times where I felt like I did not feel welcomed and I felt judged. Like, not only because I was loud in the arena, which it was not me fully, mind you, I felt targeted even more because I'm a woman in gaming, specifically League, and that was probably one of the few times that I felt like I don't know if I belong in this space because I feel like I'm being targeted. And while like I understand how that happened, it doesn't mean I feel good about it. And maybe someone else can kind of comment about like some of the experiences they had and like how they overcame that, because definitely for me that was the first time I'm like, wow, I actually feel like I feel the pressure of being a girl here. So
Obviously, I guess this is the time to talk about it. I wrote the piece, the little blog about what it was like, and it kind of blew up, and people were telling me like it was really sad a little bit how many people like DM'd me and replied were like, "Oh, I completely understand, like this kind of stuff is relatable for me," because like I wrote about how people like sexualize basically everything I do, because like I'm not ashamed about thinking a player is cute or like even like simping over them or like making stuff for them. Like I'm not ashamed about that. I'm not ashamed that I'm about to go like gift out like however much money like is worth I spent on gifts. Like I don't care. Like, but people will like, "Oh, you want to sleep with this player." And I'm like, "No, I don't. I think he's cute and I admire him and I think he's really good. And I like him because of that, and I'm going to support him because of that." People are really, really quick to sexualize basically everything we do. And I spoke about that a lot in my piece about how, like, even from people close to me, people would, like, a lot of guys would still do that, right? And it was a lot of people asked me what I meant, and I felt like I couldn't explain it well over Twitter, so I guess I'll explain it now. What I mean by like more female style fandom, like I mean like the kind of stuff that I do. I make fan edits. I send players messages and I get them gifts for when I go to LCS and stuff like that. Like it's not traditionally, if you compare like LCS to like EDG games in LPL. So EDG is known for having a very like majority female fan base. By the way, I will say EDG fans are unstoppable. They are so iconic. Dude, EDG fans bought out a Times Square billboard for Mako.
I think I saw that.
They bought out a billboard in Times Square for their player. Okay? Like I don't even want to tell you how unstoppable these women are. Like their fan base is majority women. They have gotten like the girls have gotten so much like garbage for it, right? Just for like being women. But they're literally like they're queens. Like every single EDG match, win or lose, the players are walking away with armfuls of gifts, right? And I feel like you don't see that. Like, obviously, it's like present with other teams, but you don't see that nearly as much in like LCS. And I feel like that's something I think I would like to see more. But I mean, obviously, like I'm not going to tell you like, oh, go spend your money on gifts, right? Because like that's my thing. Like I don't care about spending money on gifts because it's for the people I really admire. But like there's some aspects of female fandom that are really heavily criticized or sexualized for no reason, I think.
Do you think
And
that's like oh, it's just like because it doesn't happen a lot in LCS or you don't see it in LCS, so that's why people criticize it? Because
yeah,
or is it like, oh, I just people don't feel comfortable? Like it's
I
probably
think it's a
maybe a
lot of
combination of
like,
both.
yeah, like I think it's a lot of people just like you don't see it, and then when you don't see it, it's like weird to you, right? And like if you don't, if it's weird to you, you don't understand it, and then when you don't understand it, you kind of go down the. A lot of people tend to go down the this is wrong path or this is weird path, and then they start making assumptions about your character, and it doesn't really help when like I'm not gonna be like ashamed about the fact that like oh yes I am attracted to men, like I am, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the fact that I am attracted to men and also do this kind of thing make it like so that people think it's like, oh, it's a sexual thing. It's not. It's really not. Like I promise it's not. But because it's different and along with the fact that like there's not many like people who are just like unashamed about that kind of stuff, like there's not that many people who are just genuinely attracted to men on League Twit, and you see somebody doing something different while also being different, and then you just kind of the people kind of like hone in on that, and then it results in a lot of like not a lot, but like it results in criticism towards me and other girls, obviously.
I wanted to mention this because I was talking to Numiii about it off cam while preparing. Um, time and time again, the fangirling at like the whole fangirling thing will always be given a lot of slack. Will always have that negative stereotype that will be stuck to it. Like doesn't even matter if it's esports, K-pop, or like actors or other musicians. Like
Yeah.
for simple things, which is just to show your support for your favorite artist or player, whoever. Those fangirling tendencies will continue to have to have this negativity stuck to them. I'd like to go back to the time when on Twitter I asked people about the quote unquote K-popification of esports when in terms of like fandom or marketing or anything. A lot of the criticisms were understandable, but like majority of what I meant by the K-popification was like making fan edits, making like editing photos and all that, like fan art and all that. It's just your way to support, but for some reason there's always going to have like a lot of stereotypes and negativity that that really affect um fans, especially female fans.
Yeah, I think the way people perceive like K-pop fandom actually has like changed the conversation around this so much. Well, not changed,
I
but like
agree.
kind of enhanced the conversation. Cause I like I didn't want to say anything about it, but like I was on a voice call with one of my friends. It was just us. And he was literally like he literally called K-pop fans like psycho bitches, like straight to my face. I was
Oh my
like
gosh.
he was like, "Oh yeah, like I know you do kind of some of that kind of stuff, but like I'm glad you're not like a full like K-pop style fan. Like they're like psycho bitches." I was like, "Dude, I'm a K-pop fan." It was just so like the perception of K-pop fans is so awful when it's like a very loud minority, I think. Like obviously there's the people who start like fandom wars or say like really horrendous stuff about like other idols, but like the majority of K-pop fans are not like that. It's only because there's very very loud people on the internet that K-pop is perceived like that, and I think it's because like, and I think the negative perception of K-pop in general, like everything related to K-pop, is due to that stereotype. And I don't think enough, like, I don't think K-pop fandom deserves that stereotype, because there's like, I will say, football fans are crazy, soccer fans are crazy, sports fans in general are like actually insane, right? Like, man, you can't tell me that K-pop fans are psycho when like in Philadelphia, they literally have to oil the lampposts so that Philadelphia Eagles fans don't climb up them and knock them over. Like, that's not like, you can't say that K-pop is like the craziest fandom when you have people literally like this is horrible, but like literally like the domestic violence rate in England goes up when like the England loses at the World Cup. You cannot tell me that like K-pop fans starting fandom wars online and being like chronically on Twitter is like crazier than that. It's literally just because it's a majority female fandom. I'm so convinced that it's mostly on the internet and majority female, and that is the reason that K-pop gets such a terrible reputation.
think
I'm so angry about this topic, by the way. Like,
no, I
I
really
understand. I
love this.
understand.
I really love this topic, and because like it's a conversation that we should have more often, right? What does it mean to be a fan, right? Some people express their appreciation with statistics, spreadsheets, like cheering on people at the games. And when I talk right now, I'm talking specifically for esports and gaming. I'm not talking about like traditional sports. Some people really like analyzing the game. We'll do podcasts for it. We'll host content, do TikToks. There are other people who express their affection for the game differently, right? Like some people make fan edits. I also, as a side tangent, I don't like the argument of like fan edits being bad, because you see organizations like FlyQuest, for example, who have given into that idea, taken a K-pop song, made a fan edit for their players, and have put that online. And I thought it was taken quite well by people.
it was
When I say
taken
online,
very
it's
well.
specifically Twitter, right? Like there are organizations that play into that. So I don't understand. That's like a really side tangent, but like I hate the idea of just like fan edits are not a way to express your appreciation when you have an actual organization or company doing the same thing and doesn't get that criticism. But why is it when myself, for example, talking about that, why am I going to get criticized for it, right?
Yep.
And kind of like the general conversation of like what does it mean to be a fan, people express their appreciation differently. Some people will do it in fan edits, in fan art, like telling a player like they did a good job. Like why do, and I spoke to this with Maxi off camera and I'll say it on recording, why do I have to say like you did a good job today, or like you look nice in this picture, which is a very neutral tone in my opinion. Why do I have to feel criticized or judged for that when if a male fan said the same thing, no one would bat an eye? That's when I truly feel like being a woman in gaming, I feel that affect that like people judge and people look, and the scrutiny is 10 times more, and it hurts because it makes me not want, like I have not had that experience fully, but like it, what happens if that happens to you every week? Why would you want to participate in a fandom where you can't be open and honest about how you love the game, players, or team, and you can't express that? You feel judged, and why would you want to be there anymore? Like that's the part that hurts me the most.
I want to raise two things. Firstly, like a lot of the criticisms of fangirling, like with fan edits and all that, it's more. I feel like they're like saying that, oh, if you do more of this, esports won't be taken seriously. But like at the end of the day, it's a game. Are you really going to take League of Legends seriously? Like I get it, it's a competition and all, but it's League of Legends. And the second point that I wanted to mention was oh my goodness. Wait, I'm forgetting the second point. I'll
She
get back to that.
forgore.
I forgot. I'm so sorry. I'll get back to it. You guys can continue.
But yeah, like I wanted to use this section as well, just to, anyone can hop in, just to highlight like people that have inspired us, right? Like if there were any
I
women in
worded.
esports or gaming that like um inspired us or kind of encourage or just people I look up to, right? Like I can start. I specifically remember looking at Elaine and Delphi's accounts and feeling like welcomed because of that, right? Like, oh, there's another girl in this space that I can talk to about League of Legends, and that really, honestly, like, I've been very open about that with the two of them privately, but I think because they were so open about their opinions and what they liked about the game, it helped me feel open, right? And I met other people because of them, and I'm very grateful to have met like NAmen and the people I've met because everyone has been so welcoming and comfortable, and that is from a fan area, right? Like if fans helped me feel welcome, like why would I not bring that experience tenfold to another girl who wants to be a part of League of Legends? So does anyone want to like hop in on people that have inspired them, whether it be like individuals or like a group or like helped them move forward?
Emily
Um,
Rand.
of
I love
course, my
Emily
queen.
Rand. Right, she listens to this podcast. So Emily Rand, if you listen,
Sometimes.
yeah, maybe she'll listen to this one. Emily Rand, I love you so much.
I'm your biggest
Mm,
fan. I think
Um,
basically all the women in esports kind of inspire me, Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Shocks and I'm gonna butcher her name. I'm not sure. Lar, I want to say,
Well, yeah.
and and Emily and Lutigris. Um, like there's so many more women who are like working in the scene, and I honestly look up to all of them because like they like working at esports is like you get so much more crap than when you're like just a fan. Like I sometimes the stuff that like I get sent and like told kind of is like really it doesn't really get under my skin, but it's kind of discouraging. But I know like I see like Twitch chat when Emily is doing analysis or like just doing a fun segment with the desk, and it's so gross, and I just kind of admire their ability to like ignore all of that um and prove every single person who's saying they're unqualified or they can't do it as well or anything like that. They just prove them all wrong. Like they do it so gracefully. I really admire that about them, that they can kind of just be better. Like they don't respond to like the stuff like that is honestly like harassment at this point, and they just are so competent. Like it's so it's
Yeah. Yeah.
one of my favorite things to see. Just like them just killing it every single week on the broadcasts, like Shocks killing it with the hosting, with the interviews, like everything she does. Like she's so like they're all so talented, and I really look up to the fact that like they can be so good while kind of just shutting everybody who like doubts them up.
and I kind of noticed like in reference to the Tigers thing with the Tigers to the TSM thing, like whenever they get criticized, the criticism is like times two. To the like if say a man makes a mistake, there will be criticisms, yes, like understandable, but what I noticed that it comes with a bunch of death threats as well when it comes to
Yeah.
women.
Which is like not okay. Please do not threaten
Like
anyone. Like not
people make
even gender. Like
mistakes.
come on.
Like
We're
do
all
not
human.
threaten people.
And also, I
I don't know.
wanted to mention how, like, when you mentioned Twitch chat, it reminded me of like when in LPL, I think, and also in LCK, whenever the interviewers on stage with the players of
Yep.
the game, the Twitch chat is insane. Like they're just
They're so
um
gross.
exactly. And another situation that I wanted to mention, which I found really gross as well, was when Jonghyun of LCK announced that she has a boyfriend, and like a bunch of a bunch of fan comments were like sending death threats to her boyfriend.
Yep. It's very strange behavior like leveled at
Yeah.
women in like the public eye when it comes to like that kind of stuff. When the Tigress is casting or just like or interviewing or whatever, like it's just the strangest thing. And I I really hate it, and I really wish that like I would never wish that kind of treatment onto anybody, but they're just so like they're so strong for not like reacting to it, because I would be a very unhappy person. I would not be happy. I would
Even- Oh yeah,
I
like
wouldn't be I wouldn't be as good as them, not gonna lie.
it makes me happy seeing like the Tigers cast. I know LCS specifically has brought on Ovally and QT Cinderella to do segments,
Oh yeah, of
interviews,
course.
or on the casting, and that makes me really happy, right? Like I like seeing a woman in this space like speak her piece, feel confident in what she's saying, and be given a shot in whatever like specifically league like or Riot wants her to do, right? Like for QT Cinderella, like being a content creator or streamer,
Oh,
hosting,
she killed that, by the
casting,
way.
like she did amazing the times I've seen her. And that inspires me to like, oh, if she can do it, I can do it. Like maybe not to that extent, but I can still feel confident in what I'm doing and pursue what I want. And specifically for me, like to inspire other people, to have a spot in the scene and to feel open and comfortable talking about a game I love so much. Like seeing Ovally, QT Cinderella, like all the individuals we've mentioned and more, like helps me move forward and pay that back tenfold to someone else too. So okay.
I can only hope that the stuff I do inspires other people to be more
That,
open about their
I kinda like I
fandom.
kinda wanna that's actually a good segue to talk about the next thing was like how can people be more welcoming to women in esports and gaming? How can or speak on our experiences and how we've been welcoming to others. Um, I can kind of start it off. I have had like a lot of female fans for League in my messages saying like, I look up to you, or like, I want to do the work you're doing, or thank you for talking to me at the arena. I want to come back because of you. It's the small experiences like that. And that's a quick message, like not even a full on real life conversation with someone. That's what makes me happy and that's what inspires me, right? Because I'm at the arena trying to have a good time talking to people about the games, and if that means that a female individual can feel comfortable and like feel like there's someone out there that listens to them that wants to enjoy the game with them and to be more vocal on social media should they be like that's what inspires me to move forward. Like I like people coming up to me saying that I made their experience fun and comma I helped them feel comfortable. And I want to like I have the LCS superfan proclaimed title, like that indirect like BS, but like I do want to help people enjoy this game, specifically for women. I want you to feel comfortable, open, honest, and not judged for liking a video game, which has a lot of male audiences and stereotypes that come with it. So I want to be able for people to look up to me and hopefully the actions that I give about the game and esports help someone pay that forward. And I think that's what kind of turns the conversation from like league is toxic, there's so many men to like no, it's fun here. Why
It is
wouldn't
fun.
I
I
have a
have
good
fun.
time here?
It is.
Yeah, I have fun.
For me, I just find it frustrating how we have to like the fact that female fans, women don't feel safe in this community. I feel like here in NAmen we want to make sure that everyone is like welcome and all that, but it's so frustrating how we have to where there's a need having to stick with each other's in order to feel safe in a community that's supposed to be safe in the first place.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest things is just like I want everyone to feel welcome and I want everyone to feel safe in an environment where everyone should be welcome and safe. And I feel that it's not often felt like that. Even for me, like I've mostly been with like it's just like been me and like my girls and like Arsh and John.
I mean, they're girlies too.
The
They're
girlies,
girlies.
the girlies.
It's me, the girlies, me and the girlies. Like even with that, like I've been in spaces where I felt uncomfortable and I felt like I wasn't like I didn't have a voice. And I think we're doing our best. And I think um we're doing our best to cultivate a community where people don't feel uncomfortable doing that kind of stuff. But if you guys feel like we could be doing anything, like literally anything more, like please feel free to reach out. Like DM the NAmen account, DM like literally any of us. Like if you feel there's something, or like if there's like an issue you have, like we are so open to that kind of thing. And if there's anything we could do to make our environment, our little pocket of the LCS fandom feel any more welcoming or safe for you guys, like we want to hear that. Please feel free to reach out. That was the point.
Yeah, and as much as we can, we want to improve the community with either big step or little step, as long as it's going to help the community and let everyone feel welcome and safe and still have fun at the same time. We're also willing to do the works.
We're passionate about this space. We're passionate about being here. We're passionate about this game, right? Like I'm here for League of Legends. I'm here for fun, and I'm here to enjoy myself, right? Like I'm here to support players, good games, and to have a good time. So we're all like really passionate, and that's what I love about like this space and this little pocket of time we have, or this little fandom pocket. It's people can join in and not like it doesn't feel clicky. Like it doesn't feel like there's a boundary. It's talk about League, you like it, and we are here to support that. I am here to say that you should like CLG, even if they're not doing well right now. Like, that's what I'm here for.
Just
So I have like a
keep
very
the faith.
I have a very strange smile on my face right now. Because I'm thinking about the spicy pepper bet I made indirectly with
Oh, dear.
broadcast.
oh god.
And I'm going to the arena next week where they're playing regular, like it's the last portion of the regular games for the season, and I'm keeping my faith. And that is the only comment I'm going to make on that spicy
Keep the
pepper
faith.
bet. I'm keeping my faith. But yeah, shout out to women. And shout out to
Huge
women
shout
in
out to
esports
women.
and gaming.
I love
We
women.
love it. We're inspired. We move forward, and we want to bring that tenfold to anyone else. So, what else did I have on my
I
list
guess
of
you can say
topics?
that I guess you can say that women can bring as much to the table as men. Like
Yes.
if you give women the more opportunity, because like they're not given as much opportunity because, like, you know, they're women. There's always going to be stereotypes and prejudice about women. But if you give them more opportunities and a safer space, they can do as much as the men, maybe even more.
Yeah, it's not a question about ability, it's a question about opportunity at this point. And I think I from what I'm seeing, I think that more women are being given chances. But I think we could improve that even more. I think there's definitely spaces where like women can thrive, and I think if you're looking for people to hire, like don't think that don't think that someone is not going to have as much impact because they're a woman. They have different ideas. Like we bring different ideas to the table. We bring different types of fandom to the table. Like if you ask me to grow your socials, I'm not gonna do it in the traditional esports way because I have my own way of doing things, and I think having different like forms of thought and different ideas is the best way to grow any community, any industry, like
Right.
any type of fandom like that. You need like the ideas, right? You need uniqueness. And I think that esports is a fandom that has lacked that for a long time, and I think with more women getting into this space, I think it could definitely get better. I am very hopeful about it getting better.
Honestly, that's like I was gonna segue into this topic, so I'm glad it came up naturally. I wanted to talk about women. How do you get into esports and gaming, right? Like what is it from a like company, organization, brand perspective, and also as an individual perspective, right? Definitely for me, applying for some esports positions, I felt underqualified for some of my skills or skill sets, but also I thought to myself, like, why am I going to apply to be like an associate producer? Like, why am I going to apply to be like a team manager? Like, I felt this need where I didn't trust myself and I didn't have confidence in myself to apply for something because of preconceived notions of you can't do it. You like people, women don't apply to these positions. Women don't deserve a spot in this area. To which I say that's like, excuse my language, that's bullshit, right? Like we have equal opportunity, and I think Delphi, you mentioned it well. Like it's opportunity. Give people the opportunity to shine in a space, to show their skill set, and to show that different perspectives are not bad. It's good to have different perspectives because they challenge the social norm and social belief and can make something beautiful out of it. Like, and that's not specifically even for a gender-based thing. Like, it's good to have different perspectives on situations because you never know what comes out of that conversation. And I think the sentiment of give people opportunity is something that resonates with me a lot. Like, I I have there's a quote from like the Little Women movie where it's just like women are like great. We have minds, we educate, we have thoughts and opinions. And she says like, but I'm so lonely. And I think that it led to a conversation about like people like women have these thoughts, perspectives, and are just not highlighted. Like they're just kind of left in the void. So the idea of opportunity is something that like on a organizational perspective, if you're trying to hire, if you're trying to like look at other people, like give people the opportunity to shine and they will take that opportunity, run with it, and give you back tenfold. That's I've seen that happen and I think we should highlight that and do that more.
I
I
1000% agree.
yeah. I truly believe that if you give women the chance to thrive in this industry, the industry development will like rise tenfold. If you just give them like again, give them the opportunity, give them a chance, things would work out, things will be better, and and the community and the industry would feel safer
I,
because
I,
like it's one thing to be a woman in esports, it's one thing to be a woman in the industry, but like we also have to make it safe because whenever we for me, like whenever I think of a woman in esports, I think about, oh gosh, I wonder if they're safe. I wonder if they're not getting harassed. I wonder if they're not getting death threats. Like I don't want to think that. I want to think of a woman in esports and I want to see a woman in esports and think, oh, she's doing well. She's doing her best for the community and for the whole entire scene.
Yeah, it's very kind of upsetting that like I mean, I literally talked about how much I admire them for doing like what they do despite that stuff, and I think maybe we should eliminate that type of thing in Twitch chat and in Twitter and DMs and everything. Um I feel like there's just valid ways to criticize someone's work without criticizing them and being very and acting weird towards them.
no, I agree. And I think just to highlight a different point as well, like if you're a girl or woman trying to get into esports or gaming, whether that be as a fan, whether that be for a job, just do it, right? Like, go ahead and do it. Like, there's going to be preconceptions, stereotypes, and notions, and there's nothing stopping you from doing it. Just if you apply for these positions, if you talk online in discussions, there's nothing preventing you. And like, don't worry about these conceptions and notions because like what you're talking about is important. It should be highlighted and like it I'm like getting slightly emotional talking about this, but definitely like it inspires other people, even if you don't directly see it, right? Like, it makes me happy seeing LCS Twitter be surrounded by, like, female individuals, and it makes me want to have more of that, right? Like, League is a very interesting community, and I think it can help to have different perspectives that come with it. Especially too, like, LCS has been around for a while. I know people talk about, like, the new wave of fans and how it feels like it's changing, right? Whether that wave be just perceptions of the game or players, or, like, how we interact with people, and I wanna be a part of that. Like, I wanna help cultivate that, I wanna be a part of that, and I wanna have people be open to be a part of that wave, you know? Like, change is not bad, fam. Like, it's not, and I challenge y'all to have different perspectives and be open about that as we move forward in 2023, because it's been a rough year for LCS, and I want to be positive about it. So, do we have any more discussion on women in esports? Just you're doing your best, and
I
you will
love
continue
women. I
to do
love
your
women
best.
in
You
esports.
We
guys
love
are
women.
all doing great. You guys, every single woman in the industry, not in the industry, any single woman ever, any woman ever, I admire you so much. You're a queen. You're slaying.
You're
If
you're a queen.
also
But
sorry.
particularly women in esports, you guys inspire me a lot. I feel comfortable talking and sharing my opinion and doing my thing because of you guys. And in turn, I support every single thing that you do. I support women's rights and women's wrongs.
Also I wanted to mention, if you want to, like, if you're aiming to become a player or a coach or anyone or anything in the industry, you can also tell us about it, and we'll support you 100%. Because I want to see more female players, more female coaches in the scene.
Yep, I agree, right? We talked a lot about being female fans specifically, and, like, industry people we admire, but, like, female players, right? Like, video games aren't just for guys anymore. This is a new generation of gamers, and women are to be included in that. So I support anyone trying to be a part of that, a pro player, coach, staff, or leadership. It inspires me to move forward. Sure.
Like, video games are pretty much the most gender neutral competition out there. And we just have to give the space we just have to make the space cultivate in order to accept more than just the men. Accept we have to cultivate it in order to accept women, the LGBT, and all these different types of people, because since it's not like a physical sport, there's there's always a chance for anyone to join in and play.
Oh, I agree. So, but yeah, I think this has been, like, a really interesting discussion. Hopefully, if you were to take anything from this conversation, I urge you to explore different perspectives and to be welcoming and be kind. Like, be kind, everyone. It's so hard to find really kind people recently. So just be kind and be aware of where people are coming from, and shout out women. I challenge everyone after this episode to message or tell a woman in your life that you appreciate them. Because I don't think people hear that enough, let alone women. So if we're all wrapped up on this topic, do we want to casually talk about LCS for a little bit? Um, a lot of stuff has happened over the last 2 weeks. We're now in our second round robin. I believe we are on week 8 as we're upcoming, so this is the last
Yeah,
week
we're
of
going on week
regular
8.
season. What do we want to talk about for
Yes.
LCS?
Well, 100 Thieves 2-0 weekend. Guys, I almost cried tears, like real, just sobbing tears. I was
I'm
so
sorry. I'm so
I
happy for
was
you. I think they've been on a
so
losing streak for a bit, so they needed those
yeah.
wins. So
It's been a little rough for the past couple weeks, but I don't know if it's a coaching staff change or what, coaching staff change or what. But they just looked so much better. They looked like they were playing like a team. They kind of just looked like they were on the same page, which they haven't really looked like that for the split since like the very beginning. I'm really proud of them. I think Busio put on a champ that requires hands, allows him to use that the insane hands he has in a very productive way. And I think putting him on champs like Rakan, I really like. I want to see more of that. And even though Tenacity is weak siding every game, he still got solo kills. So he literally slayed. Like I only Tenacity could solo kill on Gragas. Wow, he's so iconic.
no, I'm really happy for 100 Thieves. I think a lot of people have had expectations and have not been met for them, so I'm hoping these wins kind of motivate them and push them forward, and they have a good performance for Super Week too. I know I had a couple hundred T fans in my DMs were like, "I'm so happy! Like I'm so happy for y'all! Like you
I
need
need them to
this."
go 3-0 while I'm
So
there. Please.
I I know
Kind.
I hope EG is doing well as well. I know Jojo on previously like was sick and he played remote while the whole team played in the arena, and then the next day the whole team played remotely and subbed in Ryoma from Challengers League. So I hope EG are feeling better. Specifically Jojo. I don't know if the other guys are sick, but I hope Jojo feels better. I hope like the team is like feeling okay. It's still been really fun watching them play. I know a lot of people are doubting EG a little bit, but like it's so much fun watching EG play. Like I still enjoy watching the players, and Vulcan's interviews have been very spicy recently. It reminds me why I love Vulcan like
Vulcan's an
as a
icon.
player. Vulcan's an icon. So I hope they feel better. I hope Jojo feels better. Some of us are going to LCS next week, so I hope EG players feel better and hopefully we can cheer them on and say hi to them. So,
Very exciting stuff.
um, on another note, I hope I'm keeping my faith for CLG. I still love these players. I know they're taking a different direction on their gameplay. They're not as scrappy as they used to be, but I still love these players. I just want to say you guys are doing great. Okay, you're trying your best. You're trying to get top 6. I want to see you guys in a best of 5. Like CLG shine in my opinion in best of 5s. So please, CLG, I'm gonna need you to go make that playoffs run. I don't care what it takes.
Me with
So,
100 Thieves. Like, I need it. It's not even a want anymore, it's a need.
I also, LCS, since like we haven't talked in 2 weeks, LCS broadcast has been killing it with their segments. I really love the Maxi catching up with Double Lift, the 100 Thieves, Tenacity, What's in My Bag is
That was so
fantastic.
cute!
What's in My Bag is not a very like it's a very common concept. Like you see it a lot on BuzzFeed. I think Vogue does it as well. But please do more. What's in my bag? Like I like that, or just like what's on my gamer desk. Like, do you have
Yeah.
water? Or do you have like I don't know? Do you have like a journal to like track your stuff? Like I like the whole what's in my blank. I think that's really interesting and shows personality. And Tenacity showed a lot of personality in that video. So
He really
I
said
really
gamers
the
stink. He is so iconic for that.
uh, I like how he said he has a Louis Vuitton bag, but he brings it to the gym. I would be
No,
terrified of
because
bringing an
no,
expensive
I think
bag like somewhere.
I hope he means like the 100 Thieves, like their little private. I think they have like a gym. I hope he means that gym and not like a
Oh,
public
okay. Not
gym,
like a yeah.
cause
Please, Tanasi, I care about you and your well-being. Please don't get your bag stolen. So,
Also, don't get the
but
dirty.
yeah, don't. Oh yeah,
right?
don't get it dirty. Like, but yeah, like I've really enjoyed LCS. Like they brought Avalie on, like she's hilarious. Like they brought Meteos on, which I thought was a really cool callback to older fans. And I thought Meteos that was my first time seeing Meteos outside of a co-stream aspect. Like, a lot of people, because I'm a newer fan, I didn't watch Medios when he played, so seeing him in a more formal setting was really, really cool for me. Papa Smithy recently casted with TL coach Spawn as well. I thought that was really cool. It was also my first Papa Smithy cast. I got some flack on Twitter. They're like, "This is your first cast?" I'm like, guys, I've only been here since like March 2022 and then maybe August 2022. Like, I have only been around for less than a Oh wow, it's March now. Like, I've been around for a year. If I want to start from
Wow.
March. Oh my
You're
gosh.
esports old, queen.
I've been called esports old since the beginning. What are you talking about?
Okay,
But
that's true.
Mostly by Arsh though.
Mostly by
I
ours.
Arsh, I love you. Please stop calling me old. Appreciate
Oh.
that. Old
It's not even old,
specifically.
it's old.
Old. He says
Old.
this in the arena too. He's like, "So, do you know what we're talking like, you old person?" I'm like, this is out of context, bro. Like, there's nothing going on here for you to call me this. But yeah, I've just LCS has gotten a lot of flack for like the day and time change. Tickets not being sold out, which is stupid because the last 3 weeks it's been sold out entirely. Like, people are actually DMing me. They're like, "Do you know how to get like tickets for week 8?" I'm like, "I have no idea. Like, if it's sold out, it's sold out. Like, I'm sorry." So I've just really appreciated and loved LCS so far, and I hope this is enough push to like get more of diversifying people, guests, pro players. Like, I enjoy it, and anyone who says I shouldn't enjoy it, don't come in my DMs. Keep that shit to yourself.
Facts.
So
If you have nothing good to say, don't say it at all.
don't say it at all. I
I
don't want to hear
agree.
it. I hear too much negativity on a daily basis. Tell me why LCS is thriving, or I don't want to entertain you.
Stop the doomer mentality. It's
I'm
2023.
not having it. So, but yeah, I think we're going. I just want to mention too, Golden Guardians, very interesting storyline. Very happy they're in playoff contention. Want to see them in a best of 5. Very happy for them. I really enjoyed Stixay's and Licorice's appearance on the dive. That was really insightful. We need more of that. So, good luck, GG. Appreciate you. But yeah, let's wind down this episode. Just like say your name, where people can find you, and any shoutouts you have. So my name is Angie. I also go by Numiii. That's Numiii on various social media platforms. And I specifically want to shout out NACL or Challengers League. It's playoffs as we're recording this on Saturday. So it's playoffs for March 11th, 12th, and 13th. And it's been really fun so far, and you can actually find more information about NACL players on lcsprofiles.com. We have a specific section for NACL. Get to learn more about the players and enjoy Challengers League. There's really scrappy games, y'all. It's so much fun. So that's my shout out. Anyone want to go next?
My name is Maxi. You can find me on Twitter at Gumeishi and I'd like to shout out my co-officers from my org safe zone because they said they'll be listening to this. So shout out to you guys. Hello.
We appreciate the
I'm
support.
Delfino or Delfinar or Cringinar or Delfi. You can find me on Twitter at Delfi.wave. And I want to shout out Elaine, my bestie, my favorite woman on League Twitter. She is so talented and she's so sweet, and she's she's so nice to talk to, and we always talk about random stuff together. And Elaine, I love you a lot.
I do
Elaine
want to
crying
give
right
like a
now.
I know Elaine's crying right now. I do want to give a general shout out before we close out this episode. NAmen will be at LCS or the Riot Games Arena week 8. So Delphi will be here on Wednesday. I will be there Thursday, Friday. I believe Elaine is Thursday, Friday. John will be there and Arsh will be there. So y'all want to say hi to us? We're very excited to meet each other in person. I'm so excited to meet Delphi and Elaine. Y'all have no idea. But
we are making it out of the group chat. We made it out of the group chat, bro.
Come say hi
If
to
you
us, take pictures with us, hang out with us, scream about us with LCS. I will be screaming for CLG even if no one else does it.
if anyone
So-
wants to meet me, Delphi's gonna be on FaceTime there.
Yes, I will be FaceTiming Maxi. If you want to meet Maxi, just tell me and I will whip out my phone, FaceTime her, and then you guys can say hi.
We're so excited to see each other, let alone like take cute pictures. So meet us up at the arena next week. And that will wrap up episode 23 of the NAmen Podcast. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We'll drop the links in the description. And thanks so much. See ya!